Hey, this is Austin Thompson again with another episode. Today we'll be discussing the importance of asking questions. But first, before we start, I just want to wish everyone a happy Easter week. I hope you all had a wonderful Palm Sunday. This is a week there are a lot of schools out on recess. A lot of young people, a lot of our children are on break and traveling and visiting family, going on family vacations, visiting colleges. Speaking of colleges, we just got over March Madness, you know. So we're moving about and moving around, and there's so much going on in our lives, man. I tell you, we approach each day and every day, every process, every task, every new experience with that zeal and that zest, in order to complete everything successfully, right? Today, what I want to discuss with you is the importance of asking questions. Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you are a business professional, and you're working in corporate, you're working on a project team, you're part of a team that's assigned to a project, and you're building you're building those dynamics and that synergy with those individuals with whom you're working to meet that deliverable. Whether you're at school and you're a student and you have to ask questions of your professors in order to yield an answer so you can get a project done so that you can study properly for an exam. No matter what, we all have questions. Every day we ask questions. We don't start and complete a day without having questions to ask, right? But I want to explain why it's important to ask questions. I know sometimes we feel, like we don't want to ask questions because we don't want the person to feel as if, we're dumb and we just don't know and we should know, but we just don't have an answer ourselves, But as a adjunct professor, a college adjunct professor, I always tell my students there's no such thing as a dumb question, right? We've heard that before. No such thing as a dumb question, right? The only dumb question is what? Is what? The only dumb question was the one that we did not ask. And the reason why it's dumb, because you could have asked a question and you could have been provided with an answer, so then you can go on and solve problems or have your question answered so that you can move a process along, right? And arrive at a solution. But you didn't ask the question because of fear of appearing dumb or, incompetent or whatever it is, right? But it's important for us to ask questions. I don't care if the person to whom you pose the question may think of you as less than who you are because you asked the question. But let me tell you something. That same person who looks down upon you, he or she is asking questions because they want to know, they want to be aware, they want to be enlightened, and they want to be able to solve problems. So they have to ask questions, right? So there's no such thing as a dumb question. Ask the questions, right? So I came up with 6 reasons why questions should be asked. Regardless of what field, what space you're in, questions should be asked, right? Number one reason why questions should be asked is that you want to acquire knowledge. You want to acquire knowledge and expand your understanding of that thing which baffles you, right? Now, I have an engineering background. I worked 25 years in the engineering industry. Believe me, there were a lot of questions. There are a lot of reasons for me to ask questions, right? And even though I worked actually physically 17 years as an engineer, I remained in the same industry for 6.5 years longer, and I worked in senior project management and business development. But I was a senior project engineer and compliance engineer for 17 years. And like I said, there were a lot of questions, a lot of manuals, a lot of regulatory information we had to read and try to interpret. And many times you had to go to a senior engineer or to your manager to ask questions because you wanted to be able to get the interpretation as accurate as possible so that you can move forward and perform the evaluation and the test as accurately and as effectively as possible, right? So ask the questions because number one, again, you want to acquire knowledge. You want to acquire knowledge because you want to use that knowledge in order to optimize your performance, right, in performing that task. And you want to be knowledgeable. You want to know exactly what it is I need to do to take the right approach at solving that problem, right? So you want to enhance your knowledge. You want to increase your knowledge. You want to expand your knowledge, right? Expand your understanding of that thing which confuses you, right? And it only makes you a better engineer or a better accountant or a better, computer scientist or a better, carpenter, plumber, a better student, a better doctor, a better nurse, whatever field you're in. Ask the questions. Ask the questions of someone, of a colleague or a manager, because at the end of the day, you're being held accountable. At the end of the day, it is your responsibility to learn that information, to understand that information, and know why it is you have to apply that particular theory or application, right? So you're being held accountable. So it's good for you to expand your breadth of knowledge, your understanding. So this way it makes you more effective, right? Reason number two, you want to minimize confusion. You want to minimize confusion and limit mistakes. Confusion will paralyze you. Confusion will hold you in a state of paralysis, right? Confusion would delay you, the person, applying the methods or the theory or the application that would help move that project along, that would help move that task along, because you don't know, and you're afraid of asking a question because you're like, if I ask this question, I might look as if I might look incompetent. I might look bad. Should I ask? Should I not ask? Should I try to find out an answer for myself? Now, here's the thing. It's always good to do your own investigation and to do your own research first before going to find the answer from someone. That's always a good thing. But let me tell you something. It's not all the time that you're going to find the answer. And if you find something you think is the answer, it might not be accurately applied because you didn't back that up. You didn't back that information up by asking a question to cross-reference with someone who's been on that project or who has more experience than you, right? And again, I understand there are some folks out there who may be condescending in the way they reply to you. They might even ask you, why are you asking me? You should know this, and that is always the wrong answer. When I worked as a senior engineer and I had my techs come to me as a senior engineer, they would always ask me a question and I would be more than happy to provide an answer. I never told any of my techs or anyone I worked with, why are you asking me? You should know this. No, that's the wrong answer. And that is somebody who lacks empathy, and that is someone who lacks the emotional intelligence to check his or her own ego, right? And provide the answer that you need and provide you with the information, right? But again, sometimes even though we know it's going to be difficult to get information from that particular individual, we just got to ask the questions, because I've exhausted my research. I've exhausted analyzing information. I just want to get a confirmation from someone who has more experience than me, so this way I know I'm performing this task correctly, right? I got a bee flying around here. I think he wants to be part of it. He wants to be part of this this video recording. But anyway, so again, acquire knowledge, expand your understanding, right? And also you want to minimize confusion and you want to limit mistakes, because if you don't know, you refuse to ask questions, and then you're going to move forward by trying to handle a task, and you might just mess it up and make mistakes because you refuse to ask questions. You refuse to cross-reference and to check and get confirmation from someone who has a little bit more experience than you, right? Never feel intimidated by anyone, or never feel intimidated by the thought of having to ask someone to provide you with answers to a question, right? Number three, it enables you to be a problem solver. You can solve problems, much more effectively if you fully understand what it is that you're doing and how you're applying the right processes and working within a system to produce deliverables, right? And again, you could be a consultant, you could be a CPA. I've had accountants ask questions from other CPAs, because you have CPAs who've been in the business 25, 30 years, and you have a younger CPA, and not younger by age, but younger in terms of experience. And that individual might go to a CPA who's been in the business maybe 3-4 years as a CPA, may go and ask questions from someone who's been in the business 25, 30 years, because that individual may have experience that makes them an authority in that particular area, right? So definitely, whether an accountant, attorney, engineer, software developer, web designer, whatever, man, we have challenges. Sometimes we come across challenges where we just need to check our egos and ask questions. Never feel as if you are asking a dumb question, or you might be asking a question to someone who is going to look down on you or speak down to you because you don't know. It's okay not to know. It is okay not to know. We don't know everything. We don't come into this world with an encyclopedia for a brain. So we acquire knowledge and we grow intellectually as we evolve as individuals. All right. So definitely, it makes you a problem solver. It makes you even more effectively at solving problems when you ask questions, to minimize errors and to make you a more knowledgeable individual. Okay. Number 4, establish and increase credibility. Right. When you ask questions, when you're expanding your knowledge, when you're minimizing confusion and you become a problem solver, your credibility increases, right? People look at you more as a credible individual, a credible source of information, right? So this is why it's important for us to always ask questions. Never mind the fact that you come from wherever you came from with years of experience, and you've been in this field for X number of years, and you think, or someone else think, that you should know the answer, or you should already have the answer. No. You have PhDs and MDs and MBAs and JDs and CPAs who have to ask questions from colleagues who've been in a specific space, in a particular space, longer than they have, and have a more expansive knowledge and experience than they have. But it makes them more credible because now they have the answers that they didn't have before they asked the question. All right. So again, that's another important reason why we should ask questions. And number 5, it makes the organization better, right? Don't you think? When you have all the answers, right? When not all the answers, but when you're building yourself up to have all the answers, when you're expanding your knowledge, when you're minimizing confusion, right? It makes the organization better. And this is why I say the people who lack the empathy and lack the emotional intelligence to be a teacher and to be a mentor and to be better at providing you information, once you identify those types of individuals, just move them out the way, because they're not going to be credible sources for you. Matter of fact, that person might intentionally give you incorrect information to make you look bad in front of your colleagues or whatever, right? I as a consultant, I have other consultants to whom I pose questions. I will call up a fellow consultant and say, hey, I'm working on this business plan and I'm trying to perform this particular type of analysis. I'm trying to do this profitability ratio. I'm trying to apply this equation. I'm looking at doing this type of research in this particular industry. Do you have any experience in that particular industry? And that person may say, yes, yes, we can talk about it now. We can meet up and have coffee, and I'll share information with you. I like people like that. You see, I can learn from people who are willing to share knowledge with you, share information with you, rather than to keep it closed in, rather than not share with you intentionally to make you look bad, right? So definitely find those individuals that can help you grow into your greatness, help you grow intellectually, because you're inquisitive and you're asking questions. You want to expand your knowledge. You want to expand your breadth of knowledge and understanding of that particular information in whatever space you're operating, right? And again, it helps to grow the organization, because the more you know, the better able you are to make the organization look good. You're not only making yourself look good, but you're able to contribute to the positive growth of that organization. And that's sometimes, the folks to whom you pose questions that are unwilling and don't cooperate with you, sometimes, they just don't get it. They don't understand it. But I make sure you ask the questions, right? Make sure. I always tell my students, don't wait until at the midpoint of the semester. Don't wait until the end of the semester to tell me you didn't know, because that is what upsets me, because now your grade will reflect what you don't know and the reason why you should have asked, right? And so finally, be a source of information for someone who's asking you questions, right? The other reason why you should ask questions, because you're now building up this, you're becoming a reservoir of information, a custodian of information, right? So now someone younger than you or newer to the process will now look to you as that credible source, right? From which they can leverage an answer. And now you become the individual that people come to, and you have to remember your experience with going to individuals and asking them questions. And now you become the provider of the information. You become the mentor. You become the teacher, right? And you're holding yourself accountable to providing good information to those who are coming to you as the source of the information, right? So now you have to be intentional in giving and providing information. And be humble. Be humble, because now you're in a position of being a mentor and a teacher, right? So those are the 6 reasons why, you should always ask questions. And again, it can be on the job, it could be as a consultant, it could be, in a medical office, it could be, you could be, performing whatever function. You could be a student in a classroom. Ask questions. Ask questions, right? Because you want to know, you want to grow your intellect, and you want to be a better person at the job you're performing. And not only be a better person at the job you're performing, but to be a great, credible source of information to whom people come to in order to ask you questions in order to help them grow and develop. All right? So this is Austin Thompson with Thompson Management Consulting. It's always great for me to sit here and to share information with you all as I sit with others and they share information with me. All right? So here's what I want you guys to do for me. All right? I'm giving you a little homework. I would love for you to like this video. I would love for you to share it. I would love for you to leave me a comment. And also, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, TM Consulting LLC. All right? And hit the notification bell, right? When you hit the notification bell, whenever I upload a video, you will be notified that, hey, you got a new video from Austin Thompson. All right? When you subscribe to my channel, you also get notifications when I upload videos. All right? Liking the video helps me, just to create that presence and that brand on YouTube. When you leave comments, it enables us now to engage in conversation. We can converse back and forth, because I love to converse with those who leave me comments. All right? And when you share this video, you enable others to learn from the information provided. All right? So happy Easter week. For those of you, happy Ramadan Mubarak. For those of you celebrating Ramadan, Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this wonderful, beautiful day and this wonderful week ahead. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.